What's up, YouTube? Sam's Horror Movies and more coming back at you guys with another video. Don't forget to drop me a like, leave me a comment on today's video. Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I noticed that some people I don't think are getting all my videos. You gotta remember to hit that notification bell, guys, and turn that on so you guys get all this content first. And so today's video, it's kind of off topic of horror movies. It's as you guys can see, I've kind of went back to all my people like Lisa on here who like the card stuff. I got some card stuff for you today. We're going to kind of talk about both comics and cards. In fact, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts about grading, about PSA, about CGC, about all these, all this stuff going on with them. We're going to get into as much as I can without going on forever. So, with all that said, guys, I grabbed myself a comic book here, and it's just one that I got out of a 50-cent bin years ago. And so this is a what if Barbara Ketch had become Ghost Rider, which of course I only got because I'm a Ghost Rider fan and I freaking love that cover. So anyway, not a bad score for 50 cents. But so let's say that we want to grade this comic book. Now this is where by the way, James at Collecting Chaos. If you guys want to know who brought this topic to my attention, it was James. So this is kind of an unofficial VR for James. So anyway, this is my thoughts about grading the comics. Now, as James will tell you, you want to check your corners just like you would a card. And this one's got a little bit of a dog ear on the corner, but it's not bad. It's a little bit blunted. They call it blunted in comic books. In a card, we'd say it's a ding, Oh, we got a ding in the corner. Anyway, so, you check all four corners just like you would the front of a card. And by the way, guys, I'm going to explain to you why people who get their cards graded, unless you're getting like an autograph authenticated or whatever, if you're just doing it just to make, oh, I need to get a PSA 10, I'm going to go over that. So anyway, I'm going to explain to you guys why people who grade cards are just being lazy, okay? So either they're being greedy or lazy or both. So anyway, see, I'm not a part of CGC. I don't work for PSA. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But at the same time, when I was growing up and I was collecting these comics back in like 92, grading was in its infancy. So normally, if you was to go to say sell this comic book, you'd have to understand the grade and the shape that's in yourself. Okay, with all that said, I'm going to quit rambling on. Point is, okay, so you check the cover. You want to make sure your spine, you got no spine ticks. There's a spine tick right there. Again, I got this in a 50-cent bin. So, yeah, I got one color breaking spine tick on there. It's not a big deal. Also, another important thing that James mentioned, staples. You got staples to worry about. Any of these staples are off or put in the wrong place or rusted. And, it is what it is. But, and then not only do you got the front cover, and I'm not going to take this out. I'm kind of here in the game room and like I got my tablet in one hand and this in the other, so I don't really have ability to take it out. But what I will tell you is that you want to take it out and you also want to look at the back cover. And just like a card, front and back, four corners. Also, something that James mentioned that I kind of found interesting that I wasn't aware of. A comic book has centering too, and I'm not really sure how you establish that. So maybe, James can weigh in on that and let us know how you establish centering on a comic book, because I'm not sure how to do that end of it. This one looks like it's centered, but I can tell you if a card's centered or not. Anyway, so not only do you have the staples, not only you got the cover, not only got the four corners, front and back, you got to look at every single page in between this. And if there's an ink smear, because sometimes when they're printed, this ink would smear on the pages, or if a page popped loose off a staple, there's a whole lot of stuff that can go in it wrong in between the front and the back cover. So just because I only got a spine tick and only like one blended corner doesn't mean this is a 9.6. All right. And again, James or anybody that knows about comic books can correct me on this. I'm not an expert at grading comic books. I'm just telling you my litmus for what a comic book would be. So, and of course, just like cards, you'll have comics that have a color. This one's got color border. If you got a comic with a black background, they're just like cards. I think it was a 72 top set that had the background, the black borders on them, and they're really a pain in the ass to get in a high grade. You'll have that in comic books too. So I feel there's a lot more, in summation, a lot more that can go wrong on a comic book's condition than a card's condition. And let me explain what I mean. We're going to take out this, we're going to take this card out here. Going to move my stuff out of the way because this is a vintage card. So I'll give you an older example of something with a card, right? So now these are the 1964 Topps embossed All-Star cards. If I can get it to American League All-Star. There you go, Mickey Mantle. So now these were a gold foil embossed, and they were made in, I believe, 64. So, you know, for a 64 card, now the thing about these, you got to know your set, just like your comic book. You got to know your comic book too, in order to be able to grade it. You know, oh, this, you know, the gold foil ones are easier to, you know, get a wrinkle or a crease. Now, I wish I would have taken this out of my one-touch sleeve here, but as you can tell, there's no creases or wrinkles. Like 9 times out of 10, when you find these things, they're going to have a crease in them somewhere. This gold foil gets wrinkled really easily and gets damaged really easily. So that, know your card. Again, going back to like what card should I get graded, it's sort of the same litmus there. So know your card. It's a 64 embossed, gold foil embossed card. So know that, yes, these things tend to get creased and wrinkled very easily. Of course, you guys already know. You know, I want to tell you guys a story. Mr. Mint, Al Rosen, still holds a Guinness World Record for, I think, the most expensive card sold or something like that. One of the Honus Wagner T206s. He bought a collection of like 1950s Bowman or whatever. Well, this is a side tangent. And he spent $20,000-$30,000. Oh, this is back in the 90s when I read this book. I read this in his book, Mr. Mint. So he bought this collection, and it was sharp. It was mint. All 4 corners were sharp. Wasn't off center like, you know, this one is right here. This one's OC. So again, being able to tell if it's off center, but that's not too bad. And the back's pretty good. So it's a solid grade on that card. Some people would say that's a mid grade, and I'd say mid to plus. You know, it's a fairly decent 1964 card. But anyway, just know your card, know your sets, you know what you know a grader is going to look at. But the point is, I'm trying to make here is that it's a lot easier to grade this because all I got to do is front, back, 4 corners, centering, and that's it, man. Whereas a comic book, you got to worry about the staples, you got to worry about all the stuff in between the pages. For the older books, you got to worry about if somebody took the Marvel stamp out. And if you don't know that, you get a Hulk 181 and spend a bunch of money on it. You know, you're out that money. And that's what my point with the Alan Rosen story. I sort of spaced that off. He bought this. It was like sharp as the day it was printed off. So he buys it. He takes it home. Doesn't check the back of them. He gets them home. He goes through the binder, and when he flips them over, he realizes somebody had taken a rubber stamp and rubber stamped their initials on the back of every single card that he just paid for. These are expensive lessons, guys. Check the front, check the back, check your 4 corners, make sure the centering's good. You know, I seen James, he had a microscope come out. I don't really think CGC or PSA really go that far into detail. But just basically, like, if I was a kid and I was looking to sell this card, I could pretty much well know what the grade it is roughly. Again, I don't work for CGC or PSA, but know what you have, know how to grade it, you know that foil, you know, go look up examples of it and see, okay, see what can go wrong. You know what I mean? So yeah, you got to do some research sometimes on these cards to get the grade of them. And again, I'd say that's a 5 or 6 on a good day. And again, you can disagree with me. That's fine. Grading's subjective, but I think people that grade cards are just being lazy because it's not that hard to grade a card. Now, with comic books, I see the reason for it, and I understand why you would want somebody that is a bit more knowledgeable about them. Because, like I said, with the Marvel card thing, you know, Marvel stamp, if you didn't know about that and you didn't know to look for it before you buy a book like that, yeah, it could cause a problem. So anyway, that's my thoughts on grading. I've rambled on long enough. Let me know your thoughts on grading. Is grading a scam? I know another channel on here mentioned that was a video topic. Do you guys think grading's a scam? Do you think people who grade cards are lazy? Because it's very easy to do. I'm sorry, it's just easy to do, guys. So with all that said, guys, let me know your thoughts. Drop me a like, leave me a comment. Until next video, guys, give every day your very best and leave the results to God. Peace.